Hey, this is Robert Smoot with Apex Software, and today I'm going to show you how you can quickly create roof drawings, one-line diagrams, and equipment walls using Apex Green Energy. The first thing we're going to create is a roof drawing. I'm going to define my area as a first floor area type, then I'm going to name it roof. Next, I'm going to draw my lines. 45 feet to the right, 34 feet up, 25 feet to the left, 17 feet down, 20 feet to the left, then A to auto close the area. Next, I'm going to place my area labels and the calculations right there. And now I'm going to jump into freeform mode so that we can draw the roof's ridge lines. 8.5 feet up, put my pen down, let's draw straight across to the right side of the property. Come back 12.5 feet, then draw a line straight up. Got a couple more lines to draw. And that's our roof's ridge lines. Next, I'm going to jump to this point and draw what will represent our equipment wall. Now it's time to add a few symbols. So I'm going to get out of freeform mode, go to the symbol library. I'm going to go to the roof drawing category and first drop our north arrow in place. Make it a little bit larger. Place it right there. And now I'm going to grab a PV module, drop it right about there, and with multiple symbols of the same type, you can press Shift S, which will place that same symbol on the sketch for you, so that you can quickly place multiples of the same type. I'm going to place 10 of these. And now we have our array. Next thing I want to drop in is a junction box, and it's pretty small, so I'm going to zoom into that area first so that we can see a up-close view of where we'll place this junction box. Place it right here. And now I'm going to go back into freeform mode so that we can draw what would represent our wiring from the array to the junction box, and then the junction box to the equipment wall. So I'm going to draw my first line right there. And then draw the line to the equipment wall itself. I'm going to get out of freeform mode. Let's zoom out so that we can see the whole roof drawing here. Now it's time to label it. I'll go to my text library, and the first thing that I want to do, since I don't have it in the library itself, is label this array. They happen to be Suntech 210 watt PV modules, so I'm going to label it as such. 10 Suntech 210 watt PV modules. I'm going to place that, make it a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to place the label for the junction box, and I happen to have that in my library. So I'll place it right here. Then I'm going to place a label for our equipment wall, rotate it in place, and drop it right there. And that's our roof drawing. Okay, now let's do the one-line diagram. This diagram is essentially the flow from the PV array out to utilities. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw some connection lines that represent the wiring. I'm going to enter freeform mode and start drawing my lines. Keep in mind, freeform is for illustration purposes and not for calculations. I've drawn my freeform in. Now it's time to get out of freeform and add some symbols. The first symbol I'm going to add is the PV module. And just like in our previous example, I'm going to continue to repeat that symbol until my array is in place. Now that our array is in place, I'm going to drop the junction box. Next, I'm going to place the DC disconnect. the inverter, the AC disconnect, the main service panel, and an arrow symbol to represent two utilities. Now it's time to label them. So I'm going to go to the text library, and the first thing I'm going to do is label my array, the junction box, DC disconnect, the inverter, the AC disconnect, the main service panel, and two utilities. Next thing I'm going to do is add some system specifications. So I'm going to go to the Draw menu, go to the Multi-Line Text tool. I'll be placing it right about there, and then entering in the system specifications. When I click on OK, the labels are placed, and now I'm going to add in the text label here that specifies the type of wiring that's going to be used. So I'm going to go back to my Draw menu, go to the Multi-Line Text tool. I'll be dropping it right about here, enter the information in, and click on OK. And finally, I'm going to add in a title, 2100 watt grid tied solar system. Make it a little larger and drop it into place. And that's your one-line diagram. Alright, let's draw the equipment wall now. The first thing that we're going to do is draw the wall itself. In the first diagram, we showed that the wall is 7 feet wide, but let's say that it's also 3 feet tall. So now that we know this, I'm going to define it as a perimeter area type, but change its name to equipment wall. Next, I'm going to enter the width and height, 7 by 3, and then place the area. Now I'm going to take the area label and calculation, make it a little larger, and place them at the top. Next thing that I'm going to do is draw in the connection lines that represent the conduit. So I'm going to go to Freeform, place my cursor roughly right here, and start drawing. I'm going to add in some Carflex. And again. Now that I've drawn that in, it's time to start dropping some symbols in place. I'm going to get out of Freeform, go to my symbol library, go down to the equipment wall category, drag the electric meter in place, the main service panel, AC disconnect, the inverter, I'm going to rotate that, the DC disconnect, and then label it. I'm going to go to the electric meter label, make that a little smaller, the main service panel, the AC disconnect, and I'm going to input the Fronius IG2000 for the inverter, the DC disconnect, and to the array. And that's your equipment wall. As you can see, Apex Green Energy is a powerful and easy to use drawing application that'll save you time and money on every job you do. Give us a call and get started today.